You guys just got a sneak peek at the Easy Up that's gonna be at AutoCon this Sunday at the LA Convention Center. If you have not heard me talk about it, I highly suggest you guys come out. Links will be down below. Hunco is gonna have its first pop-up shop and the whole crew is gonna be there. It's gonna be a great time and we're gonna be unveiling Miley there, so you definitely wanna go. We've now had this car back for not even a day and we're gonna start tearing it apart. If you guys remember, before we took it to LTMW and had the whole kit painted and all that stuff, I started to slip when I was running E85. When I'm on E85, I'm making roughly about 420 horsepower and I've been having a lot of slipping issues. So I reached out to my boys over at Clutch Masters and they sent out this new 6-puck clutch for me. So that's what we're gonna be installing today. This will help us not only hold that 420, but it should be able to get up to the 500 range, which something tells me we're gonna need that soon. This is actually the first time I've gotten a clutch that came with a flywheel, so that actually just saved me either resurfacing my stock one or buying a new flywheel, so that's awesome. This doesn't feel like a Lighten flywheel. I really hope it's not a Lighten flywheel. I'm not a big fan of them. It feels like a stock weight, so that's good. So here we have the 6-puck sprung clutch. Looks pretty nice, super hyped on it. This is a nice little color. I've never had a white one before. And it came with a throwout bearing, which is awesome. I've noticed that a lot of clutches these days don't come with a flywheel or even a throwout bearing. I've had to actually order a throwout bearing from Subaru on my last 2 clutch jobs, I think. It's pretty nice that this is included. If you guys want to check out Clutch Masters for your car, I'll link them down below. They offer a bunch of different clutches for a bunch of different cars, and they have a good amount of options for cars that can hold a lot of different powers. So I highly suggest them out. Links down below. About 6 months ago, when we replaced the crankshaft positioning sensor in this car, we had to take the trans out, and we were having so much trouble taking the trans in and out. Well, actually, it was more so getting the spindles to line up to see it in the car. So fingers crossed today, it doesn't take us hours to do this. We got a hockey game tonight that I'd really not like to miss. So hopefully we can get this done super easy. I think by now I would remember the order of operations that it takes to get this trans out, but I don't. As I started dropping the trans, we realized the shifter was getting stuck in the transmission tunnel, and to fix that, we need to take apart the center console, which I hate doing in this car because it's a bunch of meticulous bolts and screws and unnecessary work. With the center console all removed, you can get to the shifter, and what has to be done is the lockout plate that is in the BRZ right here. You gotta remove these 4 bolts, but those 4 bolts are removed. You can take off this little rubber condom thing. Once that is removed, you're able to drop the trans and not have the shifter get caught in anything. With this old clutch out, you can see all the wear on this clutch setup we had. Mickey said all these little blotches are called hot spots, and that's typically from like dumping a clutch or like trying to grab it really quick. And you can see here, this is like completely smoothed out. So totally toast. This clutch lasted me a pretty long time. I was really, really happy with it. Hate to see it go. With this old flywheel out, let's get ready to replace the new one. So this old pressure plate, I'm actually not gonna throw out. I'm gonna keep this old flywheel and get it resurfaced and reuse it again in the future. For those that have been watching for quite a while, you can see here the crankshaft positioning sensor. This ended my car's life probably about 3 or 4 times. If we take this disc off, you can check, you can notice it's no longer being hit and is not damaged. While we're seeing this view of the car, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten those 10mm bolts just to make sure everything is tight and snug. Before you put the trans back on, remember to put some lube on this. It's always good to have this a little bit lubed up, never too dry. New clutch is back in. Shout out to Calvin for numbering the pressure plate.
Shout out to Alan. If you guys don't know who Alan is. Alan is HG's mechanic.
Isn't Alan the guy from... All right, now this is all back together. Let's put the trans back on. Hopefully this doesn't take us like 3 hours. The last time we did this, it took us a really long time.
Because we kept jamming it in there.
Well, no, remember we had to refile.
No, we didn't file.
Oh, he didn't know that.
We refiled. What? No, we didn't refile the shaft, the input shaft.
The shaft?
No, shaft.
Shaft?
Shaft. I said there's an F in there, Teach. Play that back, you asshole. So we refiled the friction disc, Mick, because what happened was you guys kept like thrusting in there. The car kept saying no.
That's so bad. All right, we're just gonna move on. We're gonna try and install this. Can you help us, Scott? We're gonna need an extra hand.
No, we're good. We're just gonna tip this and we'll stab it.
We'll be all right. Shout out to Calvin for lining the clutch perfectly. Not too shabby, Chief, not too shabby.
Thanks, Kimasabi.
While they start walking in the transmission, I'm gonna go back up to the car and start installing all the pieces that connect the shifter together. It's a whole different world from up here. So the BRZ has a pretty interesting design when it comes to going into reverse. This is called the lockout plate. Now what this is it's a little tab that just simply stops the shifter from going into reverse rather than going into first gear, because they both are to the left and over. So when reinstalling the shifter, you need to fine tune this plate in the right direction. If you go too far to the left, you're just gonna hop straight into reverse every time. And if you go too far to the right, you'll never be able to get into gear. Can you get your hand out of here? So you wanna make sure that you can find the right balance of being able to go in first gear, and then when you lift up the reverse lockout, that you can get into reverse. Can you get, so I like to just leave it against the shifter and simply go to first gear and then go into first, and you can pretty much just lock it right there. You want to help by getting me a 3/8? Someone's getting their butt touched.
Sorry.
We just did a routine check on all the fluids on the car, got the trans fluid back up, put more coolant in the car, and topped off the oil just a little bit. So everything should be good, everything should be ready to go. I'm curious to see how this clutch is gonna be. I know it's gonna be much more aggressive than what we were currently at. It being a 6-puck, that is not closed. It being a 6-puck clutch is going to be a little more aggressive than what we were currently at, and it's probably going to have a little bit of chatter, which is for sure going to be annoying, as this is more of a daily-ish type of car, but that's the trade-off for having a high horsepower car. I'm just taking Miley around the block a couple times just to make sure everything feels good. Remember too, when you do a clutch, make sure to check what the break-in requirements are. Not all clutches are the same. Some clutches require some break-ins, some don't, but that's the crucial step that you always want to remember. Now, the clutch that I'm using is the FX400, I believe. It doesn't actually feel too bad. It feels pretty close to stock. It's definitely light, it's not a heavy pedal, which is good. And it doesn't feel too chattery. I've had some other friends use this clutch in the past, and they've had like a chattering problem, which isn't really a problem, but like it just happens. Sometimes when you have that aggressive of a clutch, it's like all or nothing, and this actually doesn't feel too bad. I actually have some 85 left over from my last track day with this car, but rather than mixing a little bit of 91 and the 85, I think I'm gonna burn through the current tank of 91, and then when that gets out, put in the 85 and see how the clutch feels. I'm super excited about it. I've been eating this for quite a long time. Rather than going out to dinner tonight, we're gonna have some dinner in the office and watch our new show. We started watching Lost in Space as of like 2 nights ago. It's pretty good. We're starting episode 3 today. Sabrina and I usually like find a show that we both like and watch the shit out of it. That sounded kind of weird. And
no,
currently this is the one that...
No. Sabrina and I find a show that we both like, and then Sabrina gets tired and falls asleep, and then he watches it without me. And then I can't even catch up, so I don't even get to watch the rest of the show.
How are you gonna blame me for that, though?
You finish, because...
I know there's other bros out there who started like a show with a girl, whatever it is, and they get like super into it, and they fall asleep first every night. I'm that guy that like can't fall asleep very well at night, so I'm up till like 2, 3 a.m. every night, and I get bored. Instagram and Twitter can only take me so far. Sabrina, are you mucking my dinner right now? Before I head off tonight, I want to leave you with one little piece of information that might help change your outlook or kind of help get you out of any ruts that you possibly could be in right now. I came across a quote today that I wrote down in one of my old journals from a very, very long time ago. I oftentimes feel like I should speak more about this stuff because I used to a lot more in the past, but it is simple, and it goes, life has no limitations except the ones you create. Do not create a glass wall for yourself in your head. Do not create a standard that you don't think you'll ever be able to pass. The moment you've done that, you you've capped the ability of anything that you might be able to do in the future. If you yourself doubt how far you can ever go in life or how far you can ever go on the goals or dreams you're trying to achieve, then no one else can see it for you. If no one else can see it for you, how are you supposed to believe it yourself? It's kind of a full circle kind of deal. I see comments all the time saying they'll never think it'll get to where I am or where somebody else is or some pro driver is or from wherever it is it may be. The moment I see people tell themselves they'll never be able to achieve certain things is the moment that person's already lost. You set the bar for yourself, nobody else. Always remember that. The amount of work you put into something, the greater the outcome will be. And on that note, I'll see you guys first thing in the morning. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Peace out and keep moving forward. And I'm feeling